How's it going, guys? We are back with another One Piece review. Haven't been posting much lately. I was working real hard on my last video. Go check that out. I'll put the link in the description. Let's get right into this review because we have a lot to unpack. This was an amazing chapter right off the bat. I'm gonna let you guys know right now. I absolutely loved it, and it's gotten me so hyped, and I feel like this is gonna be one of the greatest One Piece arcs of all time. Guaranteed it's gonna be up there, top 3 easily, right? So let's get right into the chapter. So chapter 1062, Adventure in the Land of Science. We see Chocolate Town completely frozen, right? The buildings, the people, everything is iced out, right? Which can only mean one thing, that you haven't subscribed to this channel. You made it this far, right? So you might as well. Anyway, yeah, this definitely seems like something a particular ex-Marine Admiral might do, right? Maybe someone that is now working with Blackbeard, huh? Who could that be? I'm so happy we're getting more to this cover story, right? Because it felt a little bit anticlimactic, right? The whole Caesar clown thing was pretty cool, but I'm like, was this all the chapter was leading up to? I hope not, right? I mentioned in past reviews that I really hoped we got to see some Blackbeard commanders on this island, because I was a huge fan of that theory that Blackbeard had sent some of his commanders to take the Poneglyph. We've been seeing theories like that for a long time, but it felt like one of those that still, it felt like it should happen, right? It felt like it made sense. It felt like it was gonna give us some cool, maybe a cool fight scene, I don't know. But anyway, I'm glad it's all happening. It makes the cover story all worthwhile, and it probably is now one of my favorite cover stories, at least in a very long time. So right off the bat, let's get into the actual chapter itself. We get the Straw Hats interacting with Vega Punk 02, aka Lilith, who we learn a lot from in a very short amount of time, right? We learn that in fact this is not the real Vega Punk, and he does have these sort of clones, right, or androids doing his bidding. They're all connected to his main consciousness in some way or another, right? We also learned that Vega Punk is low on resources, which has Lilith resorting to robbing and looting any pirates who dare approach the island of Egghead and stealing all their treasure and precious materials, right? It's also funny how differently all the Straw Hats react to Lilith, right? They all react very differently. Like Frankie, Sanji, and Usopp are all like in absolute awe of this giant robot, the beautiful lady, right? And then Nami's just arguing with her, right? They're going at it. She's like, "How you call this a saving, right? Like you saved us and now you want to steal from us? Like what the heck's that about?" And then you got Robin and Zorro just absolutely ready to throw hands, right? Like Zorro wants all the smoke. Lilith then reveals that she has an army of weaponized Sea Kings, right, at her disposal, which gives me hella SpongeBob vibes, right? Like especially the big sea bear. Reminds me of the campfire episode with the sea bear circle and the sea rhinoceros and all that. That was a lot of fun. So around this part of the chapter, we also get probably my favorite part of this entire chapter is the whole Zorro and Robin hype. I love that the Straw Hats are finally getting the respect they deserve. We get introduced to Vega Punk 01, aka Logic or Shaka, who seems to be much more reasonable and logical than Lilith, and he tells her to stand down. He tells Lilith, stand down. You've bitten way more than you can chew, right? And you will be sliced in half in an instant. This guy, this green-haired swordsman has a 1.11 billion berry bounty, and he's gonna mess you up, right? So you gotta love the respect on Zorro's name. Shaka mentions that he has an interest in the Straw Hats and to bring them in. So I can't wait to see how that meeting goes. We should be seeing that within the next few chapters, right? Because after Wano being so incredibly long, I don't see this being an extremely long arc. I think Oda's going for pure quality over quantity. I think we're going to be getting, you know, a lot of big reveals, a lot of epic character moments in every single chapter. I don't think this arc should go over maybe 10 to 20 chapters at most. But we'll have to wait and see, right? But again, I simply don't seeing this arc going deep into 2023. I see this ending maybe February, March of 2023 at most, something like that. And then going into the summer, we're going to be getting into maybe Elbath, or maybe one of those big, long, stretched out arcs where we're gonna get closer and closer to that final war. That's just my opinion. Anyway, now we cut back to Luffy and Bonnie and Jinbei and Chopper, right? I love this group. I love how Luffy and Bonnie are both very similar. Chopper is the baby brother, and Jinbei is the logical father figure of the group, right? We learn a few major revelations from Bonnie. One is that Kuma is indeed her father. Pretty nuts, right? That gets rid of a ton of theories, like that Bonnie is Imu-sama's daughter. Also, she revealed, so we know that's not true. Also, she reveals that she was on this lab a long time ago when she was a kid, meaning that her true form is likely her standard, her standard adult form. Seems to be around Luffy's age, maybe a couple of years older at most, right? Something, maybe like Zorro's age, something like that. So my theory that her true form was her kid form has just been busted. Oh well. And we also get confirmation that Vega Punk turned Kuma into a cyborg, and that is why she wants revenge. The squad manages to climb down into the lab, and I gotta say, it looks absolutely epic, right? It looks like a futuristic Disney theme park, which I absolutely love. We have yet to see this type of island in the series thus far. So I can't wait to see, what other sci-fi, futuristic, alien-like things happen in this arc. I'm very excited. I'm so glad Oda decided to go this route, because after Wano, I'm really glad we're tackling the Vega Punk stuff, right? Everyone thought that we were either going to go to Sphinx Island and get a ton of exposition dumps, which honestly, looking back on it, does not seem very exciting, right? Or maybe we're going to go to Elbath and we're going to get this super long arc. Again, after Wano, I think this is the most refreshing arc we could have gotten, and I'm really glad we got this outcome. So Luffy then tries to interact with a giant space creature and a giant hot fudge sundae. But no luck, it turns out they're holograms. We then get introduced to a giant girl, Punk 06 Atlas, aka Wrath, who makes it very clear that all of these amazing inventions, like the instant food machine, can't be mass produced because they simply don't have the resources, which begs the question, how can the most important man in the entire world not have the funding that he needs? Something fishy is going on, and I'll dive deeper into what I think is going on in a future video. Atlas reveals that she wears photonic gloves that can interact with light, which I could totally see being used against Kizaru by one of the Straw Hats later down the line, maybe Sanji. So even though Sanji has haki, maybe these gloves will give him more of an advantage against Kizaru, right? But we'll see. We'll have to wait and see. I do think Sanji and Kizaru will go at it at some point. I think that's going to be Sanji's Admiral matchup. So bring the gloves, baby. Why not? We then cut to the finale of this chapter, and boy, is it a doozy. We got Rob Lucci, Kaku, and Stussy of CP0, and all are on the way, seemingly, to Egghead. And Kaku reveals the secret of Vegapunk's 6 paths, or as he calls them, satellites. So there are 6 Vegapunks, but the main body is the one in charge, right? He created them because he needed to manage his time better and couldn't make the best use of his scientific genius if he only had 24 hours in the day, right? He needed to multiply himself and give each one specific duties. That is something that I can definitely relate to, right? Not the scientific genius part, but I always felt like one of my favorite superpowers has always been the Shadow Clone Jutsu from Naruto, especially when it was revealed that the Shadow Clones retain all knowledge and give it back to the user upon being disposed of, right? You can learn so much in a single day by having that power, right? You can have each of your clones doing something else, right? I'll have one of my clones filming videos, the other one's editing videos, the other one's doing research, right? I got the other one maybe going to the gym, learning how to fight, right? I don't know. I'll be a master of everything if I could clone myself, right? But so somebody like Vegapunk, who is a scientific genius, he could make the greatest use of this power because he can just do and create so much in such little time, right? So now we see why his genius is 500 years in the future, because he's pretty much mastered time management, right? Something that millennials seem to be really bad at. Anyway, we also get the reveal of the Bartholomew Kuma Seraphim. I didn't expect to see another so soon. I wonder if he has Kuma's devil fruit powers though. I doubt it, because that teleportation ability is just too overpowered, right? But maybe he has the deflecting ability. You know, what anything that hits his palm, it gets deflected back. That one would be pretty cool, right? Because it's not too OP, but teleporting someone hundreds of miles away in a single touch, I feel like it's a little bit too insane. If he were to have this power though, I think he will actually turn on CP0, right? If they give him that teleportation ability, I feel like he's gonna use it against Lucci and the others. Maybe after Kuma seeing Bonnie on Egghead Island, I think his fatherly instincts will kick in and he will actually protect her, right? Because even though he's a clone or a cyborg of Kuma, it was foreshadowed that you can't erase the animal instincts of these cyborgs, right? So we might see something like that happen. I'm calling it now. Anyway, guys, what an amazing chapter. This one definitely brought a whole new level of awesomeness that we can really sink our teeth into, right? And I can't wait to see what happens next. What a way to start off the final saga. Don't forget to like the video if you did and subscribe to the channel. And please feel free to check out my latest video. It is what if UFC fighters were One Piece characters. I want to say it's very unique and original. Go check it out and decide for yourself, right? Much love. Take care, guys. Peace.